hello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Failure is a part of life. It's inevitable, but the way that you deal with it can make or break you. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to turn failure into feedback and use it as a stepping stone to success. Stay tuned. That's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about failure. If you are new to me, if you're new to the channel, this is Dr. Dwayne Wood. And here we help to educate, we help to empower, we help to encourage you to live a healthy, fulfilling life, avoid complications, go to that next level. By the way, that E at the end of Wood stands for endocrinology. If you're new, we also want to know that you're new. Go ahead and put new in the comments so that we know that you are here in the community, and we will give you a hand clap. And maybe get you some welcome music. So we're glad when people come, when people can engage with us. And you're catching us live every day in August. We're on day number 22, and we're talking about designing a new me, designing a better version of ourselves. That's what we've been talking about. And if you were here just a few minutes ago, you saw one of those things that happen when you go live, right? So we were live, we were going through the show, and then I was told there was no sound. So glad that you're here. If you're out there, come on back, right? So we are streaming right now to Facebook. We're streaming to Twitter, LinkedIn. We've had some issues with that one, but should be out there as well. And then, of course, here on YouTube as we normally do. So glad that you're here. If you have not already done so, man, these videos that we've been doing have been powerful. I have been learning so much and going back and doubling down on some of the things that I've been telling you guys as well. You know, we're designing a better version of ourselves, and it's so important. If you've not done so, go back and look at those videos. We've got 22. Well, this one will make 22 so far as we move into the month. Also, we're getting to start our new season, so stay tuned. We've got some exciting things that we're going to be doing as we get into the month of September. Designing a new me, a better version of myself. Wow, that's what we're doing. If you're getting benefit, like this video. Share it with your family, with your friends. Give us a thumbs up. And then, of course, if you like what we're doing on the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and hit the bell so that you get notified when we put new and exciting content up. So thank you for being here. So let's jump right into it. There's no sugarcoating it. Failure sucks. Yeah, I'm going to say it. But just because it's unpleasant doesn't mean that it isn't useful. In fact, if you know how to look at it, failure can be a valuable tool for helping you to achieve success. And tonight we're going to spend some time talking about that. So the question is, why are we so afraid of failing? Why are we so afraid of failing? It's no secret that we live in a society that is obsessed with success. From a young age, we're taught that failure is not an option and that we need to strive for perfection in everything we do. In fact, I remember when my son was growing, and I forgot what it was that that I told him, and he said, "Daddy, nobody's perfect." I mean that's from right. So he was young at the time, but he said that, "Daddy's nobody's perfect." The pressure we often are put under can lead to fear of failure, which can prevent us from taking risks and reaching our full potential. Now, I often tell the story or tell the situation, right? So we've got these babies that are born. And from the time the babies are born, they are trying to progress. You put them down, right? And before you even know it, they're trying to grab things, right? They're exploring the world around it. That's why babies grab things and they put them in their mouth, right? Because they're exploring the world around them. They want to lift their head up. They want to roll over. They want to pull themselves up on things, right? And we're there and we're watching them as they progress. And we don't ever say, hey, stop, don't do that, right? And that baby, once they pull themselves up, they start walking along the furniture, grabbing your stuff. So sometimes you got to move things off the tables, off their level, right? So that they don't grab them and so they don't get hurt. And the baby takes a step, and the second step, and the third step, and boom, they fall. They get back up, and the fourth step, and the fifth step, right? And then boom, they fall. And they get up, and they another step. And after a while, they're pretty good at like moving along the furniture. They haven't learned yet to walk. And sometimes they get good at scooting, right? So they put themselves on the ground, they scoot. And all this time we're cheering. Come on, yay, come on, go on. Right? And we're taking pictures and we're taking video, right? And we call people, hey, come on. In fact, one of the things that parents hate the most, one of the things they hate the most is for like dad comes home, or mom comes home, or the kid is over at daycare and they're told, oh, he walked today. You're like, what? I missed it. Because that's exciting to watch this little person achieve this goal. It's huge. And when they're learning to talk and they start babbling, blah, 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 right? And I remember going back and watching some videos, and my son, he's like, why do you watch these videos? Why do you guys, right? Because it's exciting to watch where he was and where he is today. Yeah, so he can ask me, why are you watching the videos? But at some point in our lives, some point in our existence, we learn or we're taught that failure is a problem. So why are we so afraid of failure? For one thing, we live in a culture where there's always someone who seems to be doing something better than we are. Right? This can make us feel like we're not good enough and that failure is not an option, right? Because we're keeping up with those Joneses. I don't know who the Joneses are, but everybody's trying to keep up with them. We compare ourselves and we set these unrealistic standards that are impossible to meet. As a result of that, we're constantly chasing an unattainable goal of being perfect and beating ourselves up when we don't achieve it. Another reason why we're afraid of failure is because it feels like such a personal thing. We've equated the things that we do, the things we attempt, to be who we are. When we fail, it feels like we are personally damaged, that we're personally no good, that we're personally not worth it. So we identify ourselves by those things that we do, which is one of the reasons that we've talked about designing or developing your identity. Who are you? You got to know that. And it feels like we're the only ones, right? So everybody pretends that everything is all great, that we're hitting it, right? So you watch social media and you see these people, you see their glamorous lives. And we don't know, or we don't think, we don't remember that we're just seeing the reels. We're seeing the highlight reels, right? Everybody's putting up how, they cooked this meal and the meal is great and they got the camera, right, going around it. They got the light just set so, and, the little parsley, right, that's over it. But they don't show you that in order to get that footage, they had to cook that twice. Or something burned, or something didn't rise, or something didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. Right? They show you the new body. Right? And they show you the clips. But they don't show you the 365 days that they went through. Now, that's not to discount that they went through that. Right? And they're showing you what they've done, but we interpret that to mean instant success. We also worry about what other people think if we fail. Right? We remember, right? That's all that history. We remember what it was like when we failed the last time. Or if we didn't fail, we project to other people what they're going to say. What does that mean about me? There's this shame that we feel when we fail. We're embarrassed when we fail. But failure can teach us some things. Oh yeah, it is an amazing teacher. In fact, I would dare say that in our lives, we learn more from failure than we do from success. From failure, we learn commitment. I've often said that that's one of the reasons that we often put our kids in sports. Because we want them to know that they've got to be committed to something. So even when the team is not winning, you're still part of the team. You can't decide, well, I'm going to play this game or not that game, or we lost a couple of games, so I'm dropping off the team. No. Right, you're a team player. You are committed. So failure teaches that. So when we don't win, I'm still in there. Failure teaches humility. It teaches that you don't always have to rewrite. And one of the interesting things that I remember my son, he's on basketball, and they lost a game, and we were talking, and he said, "Man, Daddy, he sucked," right? So that was his word. And I said, "No, man, you didn't suck." He said, "But the other team was better." And so I asked him a question, and I want to ask you this question: suppose you have two teams. Right? And you could duplicate everybody. We can clone everybody. And they're exactly the same. Perfectly matched. And those two teams play each other. Who's going to win? I'm going to pause. I'm going to drink some water while you answer that question. Who's going to win? And the answer is one of the teams. So it is possible to do everything right and still not win, still not reach your goal. Failure also teaches us resilience and how to pick ourselves up after a setback. Because if we're going to succeed, you got to get up. So it's not the falling down that causes the problem, because we're going to fall down over and over and over and over and over. If you thought that I was going to tell you tonight that, yeah, everything's going to be peaches and cream, right? Roses? No. It's not the falling down that causes the issue for us. It's the staying down. Failure also teaches us that we can have things not go our way and still be okay. That's one of those things that every young person, every child has to learn. Sometimes we get to adulthood and we haven't learned that. That even though things don't go the way I planned, that even though I don't get my way, even though things aren't turning out the way I want them to, against my will, that I'm still going to be okay. Failure teaches that. Failure teaches us creativity. If we didn't have setbacks, if we didn't have these occasions where things don't go our way, a lot of the creativity, a lot of the designs, a lot of the things that we have would never have been discovered, developed, brought out, designed, written, videotaped, said. Creativity. And in that creativity, there's flexibility. So that I'm doing something and it's not quite going the way I want it to go, so I'm going to change something a little bit. Not throw it all out, but change. Someone said that failure just is a way of knowing, okay, that's not the way to do this. Right? It's not one of the ways to do that. And failure teaches us motivation. Because the drive to succeed, the drive to be better, the drive to be growing comes sometimes from failure. And the benefit that we get from growing in our minds and our hearts has to outweigh the discomfort or the pain that we sometimes feel, right, from failure. And sometimes, once again, we're projecting, we're anticipating, we are into the future. And we're going to come back and we're going to do a video on being in the present, right? Being in the present. So failure is a great teacher for us. So how do we turn failure into feedback and succeed? And so there are 4 things. Let me pop that on the screen. 4 things that I want us to talk about. 1 is accepting that feedback occurs. It's going to happen. That setbacks occur. It's going to happen, right? And we've got to be good with that. Number 2, using failure as an opportunity to learn and grow, right? When we talked about that creativity, knowing that there are people out there that can help us. So asking for help. And like I said, it is the falling down and staying down that's the problem. So we got to get up. Okay? So that's what we're talking about. So how do we turn failure into feedback and succeed? Number 1, accept that setbacks occur. I know it would be so amazing if everything you decided you're going to do turns out the way you want it to. From the time you were born, and they put you down in the crib, put you down in the playpen, put you down on the floor, and you just, as a matter of fact, forget that. You come out and you've got a degree and you're talking and you're telling the doctor, what to do. Right? You don't need to learn anything. And you tell them, hey, mom and dad, we're done. Let's go. You're at the hospital. Let's go home now. Now you get to the house, right? You walk in, you open the door with your keys. And you didn't have to go through any of the things that you went through in terms of learning and growing. And you just popped up and boom, you're here. And everything you set your mind to, perfect. But guess what? That's great in the movies, but it doesn't happen in real life. In real life, a part of our development, notice that word, development. A part of our development is going through the experience. So we learn and we improve. We learn and we grow. My son is about here to me now. I think he's going to pass me soon. But it's amazing to me as a parent, as a dad, watching him grow. Because I remember when he was right here, right? Like, and now to have this other person and to see how he is growing, how he's developing. But setbacks happen. And a part of who we are has been designed by the setbacks that we have. And knowing that mistakes are going to happen and understanding, hey, that's how it is. And we've got to be comfortable accepting that. You remember we talked in one of the other videos about being comfortable, being uncomfortable. We are taught that there should not be any discomfort in our lives. And I'm here to tell you, that's not how things really are. So we've got to be able to accept that setbacks are going to occur, but that doesn't mean anything about us. It doesn't mean that we are defective, that we're broken, that we're bad, that we're not moral, that we are not right. That doesn't mean anything about us personally. It is something that happens. When I walk outside and it's raining, I don't say to myself, oh my gosh, look at that. I guess that's just me. And when those thoughts come, if we're not careful. If we're not careful to throw those away and break them and get rid of them, we begin going down that spiral. So accept that setbacks occur. The next one is use setbacks as an opportunity to learn and to grow. Oh, this one right here is the crux of it all. This one is the crux of it all. So as we are designing, as we are growing, as we are working on becoming a better version of ourselves, there is so much data that comes at us. Can you imagine if we were able to absorb all the information that's coming to us, that is teaching us and that's informing us? We can't practically do that. So we begin, making these summaries and deletions, and we form these scenarios in our heads and in our minds. But all of those things, all of those catalogs that we're putting in our brain and in our personality, all those things that allow us to then see another situation and say, okay, is that similar? Is that like this one? That's where we get our meaning from. All of that comes from our interaction with the world. And a lot of our interaction in the world occurs with failure and setbacks. And so we've got to ask ourselves, is there a different way to do what I'm trying to do? Is there a better way? And then make a plan to avoid making the previous mistake. So like I said, check it off. Okay, that's one way of not doing that. When I was in graduate school, one of the things I was studying was artificial intelligence, and we were doing particularly machine learning. And in the theory of machine learning back then, and I'm sure they've advanced now, what we did was we wrote a little computer program. Let's assume that we wanted a robot to go from my front door to my master bedroom, right? So we labeled the front door and we labeled the master bedroom. And so the robot has to figure out how to get from there to the master bedroom. And so what the program was designed to do was to have the robot, the program, go into the house, and then he would go to each room, right? Until it found the master bedroom. Yeah. I've got one of these Roomba robots. and it's going out, right? And sometimes, when you first get one of these, it maps the house. And what it does, it goes out and it's going into each room, into each area, is going under the desk, is going under the chairs, going, right? And after a while, it has a map of the entire house. And then I can tell it, clean the bedroom or clean the master bedroom, clean the kitchen, clean the dining room. Notice what happened. It had to evaluate the entire house to get a mental picture, if you will. And once it has the picture, then I could say to it, I want you to go there. And then it doesn't have to go into all of the different rooms now. It goes directly where we wanted it to go. So as we are doing things, sometimes that's where we are. We are trying different ways of doing a thing, so that we now know, okay, that's not a way to do it. And if we embrace that process, we get good at it, right? So that we say, hey, I don't have to try all 10 of them. This one is similar. I think where I'm heading is over here. So we begin to now estimate. And so we've created these catalogs in our heads that allows us to bypass some things because we've grown, we've learned. So ask yourself, is there a different way? Make a plan to avoid that mistake. And remember, even the most successful people, The most successful people had setbacks. Everybody talks about Thomas Edison, right? The Wright brothers. And we can go on and on and on and on about all the people who succeeded after multiple quote unquote failures. The difference is that they learned from those mistakes and they used them to fuel and drive them to success. The next one, ask for help. Ask for help. One of the most amazing things about human beings is that we are born helpless. And if we are going to survive, then we need help from our parents, from our grandparents, from aunts, uncles, cousins, brothers, sisters. And at some point we grow and we say, okay, this is me. I'm doing this by myself. If you're feeling lost or stuck, if you've had a setback, reach out. We've talked so many times on this show about the community and what the community brings to us. You guys, what the community brings to us. So we've got to be able to reach out for help. And help comes in so many different ways, right? I mean, we got all these social media things that we have. We've got this channel, right? Because remember, one of the things that we are doing is we're educating, we're empowering, and we're encouraging. There's so much access to data. There's so many people out there. There's somebody out there that wants to do something similar to what you want to do. If you're having problems, reach out to them. Get a coach. Get a counselor. Take a class. Audit a class. Buy a video. Read a book. Ask for help. And if I had to pick any of the things that I tell you on how to turn failure into feedback and to succeed, it is don't give up. Don't give up. Failure is only permanent if you let it be permanent. Remember, I said it's not the falling down that's the problem. It's the staying down. The only way to achieve success is to keep moving. Because when you stop moving, you're where you are. You're stagnant. And things that are stagnant die. And if we're going to build a new us, if we're a better version, we got to keep going. Right? There are some people, you probably know some of these people in your lives. And sometimes we make fun of them. Right? It's like, oh, nothing bothers her. Nothing bothers him. Right? There's a young lady that we know. And it seems like it doesn't matter what's going on. It's like water off a duck's back. And it just kind of rolls off. And I love that quality. Imagine the things that you can attempt, the things you can achieve, if it doesn't stick to you, if it doesn't weigh you down, if it doesn't make you stop moving. Because if you can move, oh yeah. Let's pause right here. Let's see who's out there. So let's see. So Lauren is back. She said, back and ready to listen. Love it. Thank you, Lauren, for coming. Thank you for coming. And then Florence is here also. Florence, thank you for stopping by. She said, what a great perspective, Dr. Wood. Watching with my sister. Well, hey, Florence and Florence's sister. Thank you guys for coming. Glad that you are here. Once again, guys, if you've not done so, go ahead and hit the like button if we're getting some value. Share this with your family and friends. Give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so that you can get benefit and you will know when we put out new content. This is a perfect place for us to talk right now about our thought of the day. All right. So our thought of the day is this. There are 1,440 minutes in each day. Aside from sleeping, most of us give all of that away, most of it away to somebody else. And our thought today is that some of that needs to be spent on you. We've talked about managing time. We've talked about improving ourselves. And a point that was made to me recently is that everything that we talk about requires time. If we're going to be intentional about being a better version of ourselves, if we're going to be intentional about developing and expanding our minds, if we're going to be intentional about connecting to the community, then we need time. And we've got to be able to manage our time better. Got to be able to take some of that time back. 1,440 minutes each day. Each time you wake up, that's what you get in that 24 hours. You can't get any from yesterday because it's gone, and you can't borrow any from tomorrow. So today, you've got to optimize your ability to use your 1,440 minutes to develop you. Because the most valuable thing that you own is your time and yourself. You've got to invest. You've got to develop. You've got to grow. You've got to get better. 1,440 every day, without exception, without change. Every day it ticks away. 1,440 minutes. And the question is, what are you doing with your 1,440 minutes? Take some time for yourself. Because if we're going to develop a better us, we have to use our time efficiently. That's our thought for today. At some point in our lives, we've all found ourselves in a position where things don't go exactly as we planned. When faced with failure, some people crumble. They give up and they wallow in self-pity. Others get angry and they lash out at those around them. But the best way to deal with failure is to dust yourself off and try again. Because if you never fail, you'll never know what you're truly capable of. So go out there and fail miserably because it just might be the thing that you need. It just might lead you to something great. We want you to work on designing a better you, developing a better version of yourself. Try some of these techniques that we've talked about. Go back and look at some of the videos that we've done this month. Like I said, this is day number 22, and we are coming to day number 23 here soon. This is Dr. Dwayne Wood. Thank you for joining us. That's Wood with an E. Here on our channel, we help to educate, we help to empower, and we help to encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Go to the next level. Live that life you've always wanted and avoid complications. Thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow at our next video, day number 23. Let's get some music. Let's get on out of here. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us.